In this crazy time of quarantine, you might be left wondering what to do now. Luckily, many of us have been able to turn to services like Netflix to keep us entertained. With all this extra free time on your hands, you might be stuck wondering what shows on Netflix are good to watch and what you should stay away from. So today we're going to be breaking down the top 14 shows on Netflix that you should watch right away. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe for more great content every day. Number 1. The Stranger. If you like thrills, murders, and being confused, The Stranger is an engaging and possibly overcomplicated mystery with many spooky storylines to follow. Based on Harlan Coben's novel of the same name, The Stranger mostly follows a, you guessed it, stranger who goes around town revealing other people's secrets. The Stranger's motives often vary. Sometimes she blackmails people for money, other times she helps by revealing truths. If you like crime and a great mystery story, The Stranger definitely is the right choice for you. Number 2. Arrested Development. Cult classic sitcom Arrested Development is the story of a wealthy family that lost everything, and has spent 5 seasons losing even more. The show follows the Bluths, a dysfunctional clan of fools and sociopaths who lose their fortune after their father, George Bluth Sr., goes to prison. George's middle son, Michael, the only marginally decent Bluth, must keep the family and the family business running. Arrested Development relies on snappy dialogue, memorable characters, and dense scripts with plenty of jokes that get better with every viewing. The streaming giant revived the show for a 4th season. It got mixed reviews for splitting up many of the characters, but Season 5 seems to have righted the ship, returning to the quality of the first 3 seasons. Number 3. Killer Inside, The Mind of Aaron Hernandez. Whether or not you're into sports, Netflix's documentary miniseries Killer Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez is a haunting portrait of the NFL star who became a convicted murderer. The documentary revisits the 2015 murder of Odin Lloyd, who Hernandez was found guilty, as well as his trial for the 2012 double homicide of Daniel D'Aruba and Safira Ferrado. But beyond the crimes, the documentary paints a picture of the man himself with new audio recordings of Hernandez's phone calls from prison to his lawyers, mother, and his young daughter. The docuseries also illuminates the extreme dangers of football on the brain and shines a light what it means to be a closeted gay man in the NFL. It's an absolute must-watch. Number 4. Derry Girls. A Civil War might not seem like the best setting for a jaunty coming-of-age comedy, but Derry Girls shows the shenanigans can happen even in times of violence. Set in Derry, Northern Ireland, the show follows a group of teenager friends, Erin, her crazy sister Orla, Claire, Michelle, and Michelle's English cousin James, as they go about their daily life as students at an all-girls school. James is also attending the all-girls school because due to his English accent and awkward demeanor, he might get bullied at the all-boys school. Although the show is very conscious of the conflict raging around the cast, such as how a bomb scare earlier in the first episode leads to complaining about how it will affect traffic, focuses on the lovable, obnoxious characters and their rapid yet clever dialogue. Number 5. Alias Grace. Based on the novel by Margaret Atwood, Alias Grace begins with a mystery. Grace Marks is serving a sentence for murder for which her male accomplice was hanged for. Grace has numerous supporters who hire Dr. Simmons Jordan to interview Grace and hopefully reveal a truth that will absolve her. Grace's story takes her from Ireland to Canada, where she works as a servant for the wealthy man she will allegedly kill. The show is no mere whodunit. As the member of the lower class and a woman, Grace navigates social hierarchies that grasp at her at every moment of each day. In its examination of Grace's story, her dismal past, and the shifting views society takes on her, Alias Grace weaves a tale about what it means to be a woman in a world governed by men. Number 6. Love is Blind. Take some single girls and single boys, stick a wall between them, and make them talk to each other. What do you get? Pure chaos. These hopeful romantics are ready to couple up without even seeing each other, and even several of them say I love you after just 3 days. Unsurprisingly, many of these relationships don't last long outside the real world. The most bizarre part of this reality show is that in order for the couple to see each other in the flesh, the couple must get engaged and plan a wedding in a matter of weeks, but not all of them will make it down the aisle. Number 7. Living with Yourself. What's the only thing better than Paul Rudd? 2 Paul Rudds. The actor gets cloned in this quirky comedy when his character Miles decides to go for a spa treatment that will help him be a better person. With one radiant new Miles and one cranky one, Isling B plays his wife Kate, who isn't aware that she has two husbands under the same roof and just wants back the man she married. Number 8. Mindhunters. In 1977, cultural earthquakes have toppled faith in the American ideal, and the agents of the FBI face an unfamiliar kind of criminal, the serial killer, whose crimes have no basis in reason as far as the agency can see. Agent Holden Ford believes that with enough research, the FBI can make sense of the seemingly senseless violence. Together with behavioral science unit Agent Bill Trench, Ford travels the country interviewing imprisoned serial killers to understand what drives them, but gazing into the abyss starts to gnaw at the agents. From director David Fincher, Mindhunter is a sleek, eerie production with a focus on the nature of criminal psychology, rather than grotesque violence. A phenomenal show for anyone into psychological thrillers. Number 9. Happy. Nick Sachs is a detective turned hitman who reveals his completely dysfunctional life. Then, after suffering a heart attack during a hit, he wakes up to find he is now accompanied by Happy, a small blue flying unicorn. He is the imaginary friend of his kidnapped daughter Haley and believes that Nick is a hero that will come to her rescue. What follows are a large amounts of serious violence and disturbing scenes, which will likely be a put-off to some viewers. That said, the story adapted in the short comic series with the same name. That being said, the story adapted from a short comic series with the same name is an amusingly twisted version of a serious crime drama that has a dark sense of humor that will keep you entertained for hours. Number 10. Tiger King, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness. If you haven't yet succumbed to the Tiger King hype, now is the time. Netflix's bizarre 8-part docuseries tackles big cat ownership in America. The story follows Joe Exotic, a tiger breeder and a private zookeeper in Oklahoma, with a cast of characters whose wild quirks and crimes must be truly seen to believe. The show is as engrossing as it is flawed. At the very least, it'll take your mind off the news cycle for a few hours. Number 11. The Crown. Britain's currently the longest reigning monarch. It is also one of the most amusing. Elizabeth II ascends to the throne in the aftermath of World War I, at the time when the monarchy has ceded much power to Parliament and the Prime Minister. Despite a lack of governmental power, the Queen remains one of the most important heads in the state of the world, and civic duties come along with the job requirements. Netflix's Crown traces Elizabeth's life, from her marriage to Prince Philip in 1947 to the present day, digging into the web of the agendas and alliances that the Queen must navigate. With a heavy focus on political intrigue, The Crown is sure to satisfy viewers who appreciate Machiavellian television, as well as those who love the decor of the television show Downton Abbey. However, the show also has a deep, intimate side, in that it examines Elizabeth's personal relationship and the toll given by her duties as the Queen. Number 12. Bojack Horseman. Back in the 1990s, Bojack Horseman was the star hit of a TV sitcom. A lot has changed since then, and the animated series picks up with Bojack 20 years after his peak, as he sinks deeper and deeper into his middle age and endless cycle of substance abuse. In a version of LA half populated by human-animal hybrids, Bojack comes to terms with his existential dread in this bleak and dark funny comedy. The first half of season 1 is a little heavy on the bleakness and light on the laughs, but once it hits its stride, this surreal comedy breaks into its own stellar voice performances by Amy Sedaris, Will Arnett, and Aaron Paul. And at 13 we have Master of None. Created by and starring comedian Aziz Ansari, the Netflix original series Master of None concerns the everyday life of Dev, a 30-year-old actor who attempts to navigate the twists and turns of adulthood while making a living for himself in New York City. Reportedly based loosely on Ansari's own life, the show even features the former Parks and Recreation actors' real-life mother and father as Dev's parents in the show. Even if you have dabbled in Ansari's prior work, which you definitely should if you want a good laugh, Master of None is sure to please you with its witty dialogue, multi-dimensional cast, and relatable storylines. And coming in at 14, which is my personal favorite, Peaky Blinders. Set in the aftermath of World War I, Peaky Blinders is a crime drama about a British crime family, the Shelbys. After Thomas Shelby, played by Cillian Murphy, returns from the war, he sets about trying to expand his family's control of Birmingham. He begins his long and winding journey by stealing a shipment of guns to give his gang an edge in the twisted world of crime. The show follows Tommy and his family as they move up in the world, butting heads with other crime families and the British government. Peaky Blinders is gorgeously shot, and the story it tells is one of complicated people and muddy morality. A definite must-watch if you are prepared to be blown away by a spectacular story and an even better cast. What show do you plan to watch next, and why? Let us know down in the comments, and subscribe to Top 10 Owl so we can keep you entertained during lockdown.